Okay. Before I turn it over to Caroline, I wanted to also tell you guys that I registered a bunch of us for Team Cup today. I put a few of you on a message thread. I know Katie, Heather, a couple others of you I put on a message thread. We need to go ahead and have your coach IDs and your emails. Sorry if I seem a little bossy, but if it's all organized in one message thread, we can go ahead and get everybody registered tonight so that we can go ahead and get these teams set up, start the excitement, and really move forward with this Team Cup. I know I'm excited about it, so I want you guys to get excited about it and have a good time with it because it's always something that I look forward to. All right, so I guess those that are jumping on late, they'll just get on when they get on. And tonight I thought it would be great to have somebody else talk to you besides me, because that could be a broken record, obviously, after a while. So I have invited Caroline Nathan, which I'm sure a lot of you are following. If you are not following Caroline's journey within her fitness journey and her business, then you are, and just following her as a person, you're totally missing out. So you definitely want to follow her. I always think that Caroline's kind of like a marketing kind of genius because she can talk about what's hot at the time, what's going on, knows how to create messages that really connects with people while she's also putting herself into that. So, you know, obviously not copying messages, but definitely check her out and check out her page to see what she's doing, because if you're not, you're really missing out. So you definitely want to follow her. Caroline recently, I believe, is ranked 34th out of 450,000 plus whatever Beachbody coaches. So that's a huge accomplishment. And she's actually just been, I guess, putting the pedal to the metal, as they say. I would say for about maybe, 6 months, Caroline? A year? Maybe 6 months max, which can tell you guys that it's been done, because can be done. I know for myself, I've really now finally get it, and I'm really working the business for about, a year myself. So I wanted to congratulate her on that, and I'm really excited that she is on our team call tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to Caroline.
Hey guys, so I'm going to talk about our BATs, you might know as to-do list, and really how key to your business it is, and also how key it is to keep it simple. I see some BATs or to-do lists that have 40 things on it, and for me, I would look at that and be like, I'm not going to get any of that done, so why even try to do some of it? That's my kind of mindset. I'm very type A and I work full time, so if I see 1,000 things, I'm not even going to try it. So I keep it very, very simple, and I screen share to my coach group, because I wanted to show the different versions that my coaches do, just so just because one person does something one way, this is tonight, but I don't want to do that one because it's so many people, but just because one person does something one way doesn't mean that you need to do it exactly. That's probably, sorry for all these posts, I gotta scroll through it, but that probably is my biggest regret in my business. It's just because it works perfectly for someone else doesn't mean you need to switch your entire system. I swear it's in here. Let me keep going. But I do pen and paper. I'm a total pen and paper person. I have coaches that are total, all right, here we go, Wednesday. All right, so here's mine, for example. And I do something that Amy Reelman does, which is every day for a week, and then you have all your activities, and obviously National Wake Up Call on Monday, but I just inherently know to listen to that. If you don't, I would write that on your little thing, but this makes my life so much easier. Everything is on one list. So personal development, drink my shake and work out, post on social media, and things like this. So post on social media, I used to say on my to-do list, literally post on my page, post my personal page, post my Instagram 3 times a day. That right there is 9 things on my to-do list. So really just try to keep it simple. That one time a day is not good enough for your social media. So you could short yourself by the first time you post on social media, check it off, but better. So I like to keep it simple. I know I'll fill it in the first time, but I know that I need to post again. 30 challenge pack invites, that is a lot, for many coaches. So if you're doing only only 10 or 15 a day, don't feel like you need to do 30 just because I do. I just really want to accelerate my progress with this business. And so that's where you just got to figure out how many you want to be doing. Mass unread means I make sure that whatever time I do it, I have gone through all the unread messages daily. And something, I used to be a slave to my inbox, and what I make myself do is, like, for example, it's 9:07. So let's say I go to my inbox right now and I start responding to messages from the bottom up. I make a note on a piece of paper what time I start. So 9:07. I am okay if I'm go up and I like get to the point where people start responding to me, if that makes sense. I used to just keep staying in my inbox and it would take me hours because I was determined to like unread all the messages. But if you're messaging people at a prime time, like 9 p.m., people are going to start responding back to you. Often I like to stay and respond if I have time. But if I don't, I write that time down, 9:07. Any message that comes in after 9:07 p.m., I don't consider it till the next day unless I have time. That will also save you time. Follow up with invites. I follow up with my invites from 2 days prior. So I just keep, and it's like not organized for anyone else but me. So again, like you got to figure out what works best for you. But I just like have names written down. Like this is just literally what I do. And I have this like endless, all these papers. See, I'm like, this seems disorganized to everybody else. Yeah, I'm pen and paper all the way. But I have all these names and I just keep adding page to page, right, exactly, page. And what I do is,
that's how mine is, and it only makes sense to me.
Right, exactly. It only makes sense to me. When I invite them, I highlight them in yellow. When I message someone that I recently added, I write their name here, but they're not highlighted, so I know that I can invite them, things like that. You gotta figure out what works best for you. I'm total pen and paper. I tried the Excel thing, and took me forever to load the names in there, and then I just couldn't keep up with it. So anyways, I follow up with the invites from 2 days prior. Then I friend 30 people, which again might seem like a lot. A lot of my newer coaches do like friending 2 to 3 people a day. So it just depends how fast you want to go with your business. I always say it's much better, at least for my coaches, much better to do like 5 ads a day for 7 days than only 1 day a week do 35 ads. You want to consistently every single day be adding people. So if right now like 5 seems super scary, then do 5 every day. You want to do what's super scary. You want to push yourself. That's how you're going to be successful. Message to accept, that's just people. So I'll go to like my recently added on my friends list, and I'll go through and say like, hey Marie, thanks so much for accepting my friend request. I love connecting with people I meet, like people from Orlando or people I went to Gettysburg with, or people from Bethesda, or people who love Lily. How are you doing? Or I saw you just got married, or I saw you just got a dog. And I message people. I don't go to the very top because I like people to see my posts for a couple days. So I'll message maybe like 10 to 15 a day, and I'll write them in this little black book. And that way in like 2 weeks I can then invite them. But for the people that I'm friending and then messaging, I really try to friend people that went to Gettysburg, my college, or went to the same high school, or we played golf against each other. You want some kind of common thing, because if there's nothing common, that conversation will die. It's much better to friend quality over quantity, random like people. Like I don't friend request guys. You don't want to just friend request people just to get to that number on your to-do list, if that makes sense. Message people who like your posts every single day. I go through. I just did it tonight, and I'll write down, if you can see this, like it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. These are people that message my post, then I invite them, or some of them are follow-ups, but I'll message every single person. And I can relate every single post that I do, whether it's my life or not, to coaching. So if they like to post, unless someone like died, but otherwise I will message people about coaching or challenge groups, no matter what post they liked. So that's just messaging people you like, or people that like your post. When you first start off, it's going to be a lot of coaches, and it's going to be a lot of people not liking, but trust me, people really are watching, so that's why you have to stay consistent. This is Follow 5 Instagram. I'm doing a lot of Facebook adding right now, not so much 531s. So Follow 5 on Instagram just means I find 5 accounts of people that I would love on my team, and I'm going to follow them. And then that's because my assistant Dennis, which some of you may know, he goes through and likes people that I follow their pictures all day long. So that's why I follow them. Instagram is great for getting followers, so I just check that it's still running because sometimes it stops. Just do little things. Check groups. Check all the coach groups. My coach group, Boom Fam, Diamond, 2-Star, the corporate groups, my challenge groups. They're all my favorites. Let's see here. So like right here, so like here's my coach group, my free group, challenge group, challenge group, challenge group, challenge group. Then this is my coaches free group, my coaches free group, my coaches free group, my coaches free group, my coaches free group. This is this new group, 60 Days Diamond I'm doing. These are all my interest lists. So like in the morning, I'll work out. I'll post it in my free group, all my challenge groups, and then my coaches challenge groups real fast, just to help my coaches gain momentum, and then post my challenge groups, and then I'm done in like 30 seconds. Where did I go? There we go. What's next? Post groups. Birthday, just message people. Happy birthday, Caroline, up to anything fun. Check in with my challengers. I do that every single day. I don't think it's really rare that I don't message my challengers. Check in with my coaches. That just depends on the day. I talk to my leaders every single day, and then other coaches who really work in the business usually every day. If I'm like super focused on this list, I can get done with a heavy amount of messages in my inbox, including my workout, including everything on this list. I can get this done in probably 3 hours. That sounds like a lot, but think about it. A workout is in there, personal development's in there. Sometimes I have 200 to 300 messages in my inbox. So this is like way more numbers than you guys. But I hear people often say, like, I spend all these hours on the business and I'm not able to get much done. So you really got to keep it simple. Because I do power hours with my new coaches, and they're able to accomplish like the same thing on this list, just smaller numbers in an hour every single day. And I had a coach who just went, I'm sure Michelle was doing the same thing. I just had a coach that went diamond in 6 weeks from just doing this list, just like smaller numbers. And then at the bottom, I just say, like, you can see, like, last night I talked to a call, tonight I'm talking about this call, just various things just to remind me of little calls. I do have a, what is this called? Day designer, and I like write other things, but I really every week focus on this little thing. But as I like to say, like, I'm pen and paper, but then you can see like this girl's pen and paper. Some people just write it, and I personally would have some kind of like way to track it outside of just commenting on this post. This girl uses some app. I don't remember the name of it, but it just, she's a new coach, and I have my new coaches start very simple. So she just checks it off and does a screenshot. My coach Mark is like way savvy more than me. I don't even know what this is. I think it's Excel. So you can see like he does Excel and does like the vital order, and just tracking that way. Michelle is that. You can see Kate does this every single day. She does something in her notes. I think she just erases the X's or the green stuff or whatever. Just graphs written down. So you can tell all my coaches do a different way. Like, there's not a required way, I guess you could say. But it's so key, in my opinion, to have something written down or do something in Excel and to follow it consistently every day. I love this version because you can see a pattern over time. Like last week, I forget which one it was, but I missed the same category 3 days in a row. So I made sure, or not 3 days in a row, 3 days of the 7 days. So I make sure now to start that towards the top of my list, if that makes sense. So you track what you're doing consistently enough. But I would not be successful if I didn't have a list, because I could easily scroll my newsfeed or spend all my time in groups all day long and think I'm accomplishing so much, and I'm not. These lists really keep you on track, and knowing you're doing all the simple things that make you be super, super successful. I'm trying to think What else? Does anyone have any questions on that? Oh yeah, business activity tracker. That's the BAT. That's what I call BATs.
I have a question, Caroline. Do you, I find myself doing this and I didn't know if it was a good idea. Sometimes if somebody's active, I see that they're active and I'm busy, like I won't message them like, you know, were they ready to join my challenge or whatever? Like if I've talked to them about the challenge in detail, because if I want to start from my bottom up in my messages and I see they're active and I'm like, I don't want to get tied up in conversation. Do you sometimes skip somebody if they're active if you're rushed? Or do you just keep going?
Skip around? Like I'm so, I don't know who's like a type A person, but like if I see an unread message just like thanks, I'll hit it just so it's like one last message. But yeah, I'll skip around. I try to start from the bottom. But I rarely miss a day of making it unread. So they're all from the same day as it is. So yeah, I'll skip around,
Okay.
especially if I'm trying to hit a deadline and I see someone like asking about a challenge group versus like, I saw you got a new dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I really like the point you made about getting stuck in the challenge group. And I definitely have some really strong coaches that are doing the personal development, the working out, drinking the shake, posting about it. But I like what Caroline talked about it because there's this whole other piece, you know, that's going to move your business forward. That part is kind of like eat that frog and do what you don't really want to do that feels uncomfortable. And that is what's really going to move your business forward. Because I know all my coaches that are on this, we've definitely mastered all that stuff. Now it's time to move over here to the scary zone and start friending people and talking to them. You know, so I like that point you made. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely scary. And like, we all have days where you just don't feel like it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say every single day I want to invite, but I know that's what's going to move my business forward. And I have to remember, I think this is where it plays into having a why. Like I have this written down, but I also have my why written down. Because I have to remember like, why am I a Beachbody coach? And like those things. And then think about like what these programs have done for me. And I'm robbing someone the opportunity to change their life if I don't invite them. Some of my coaches are people that I never in a million years would have thought would have joined me. And I think all of us have that. We're like, literally my top diamond leaders are people that I never would have thought would join me. One's a 50-year-old guy. Like you just never know. And I really just have to remind myself that. And I tell my coaches, just think of where you would be if you weren't a coach. And then some days, like, you still don't want to invite. Like, trust me, I occasionally have those days too. And you just got to do it because you've got to really look at that why list. Like, how badly do you want to be successful? And it really does compound. And I always say, like, the 10-minute rule with workouts. I said the 10-minute rule, 10 like person rule with my to-do list. If I really don't feel like doing it, then I'll tell myself only 10 challenge back invites, only unread 10 messages in my inbox, only follow up with 10 invites, only friend 10 people, 10, 10, 10. And that usually gets me going. Once you like get in there and you're talking to people, it's really just the start. Something else I wanted to touch on, because this gets me a lot. I don't know how many of you work full-time, but I work full-time probably about 70 hours a week. And sometimes I get home and my to-do list will be completely blank at 11 p.m. And it's so easy to think, you know what, I'm just going to go to bed. I won't worry about it till tomorrow. And you're going to get in such a bad downhill if you continue that way. You got to keep the momentum going. It's super easy to keep going when we're all hitting Success Club, right? But those little moments at 11 o'clock when you get home and you have a blank to-do list, those are the moments that matter the most. Not the days where you're hitting Success Club or the month hitting Success Club 30. It's really that consistency. And I'm not saying every single time I get home at 11, I do it, but I would say 99.9% of the time I get home at 11 with an empty to-do list, I take care of it. I stay up late because it trains me to get it done earlier in the day. I'm not sure if you saw on this post when I was sharing it. Let me screen share. It's a perfect example. So I was showing this earlier, and my coach Marjorie said, wow, so early, because I posted this at 9 a.m. yesterday. And I said, knew my day would be crazy, so I woke up at 4 a.m. I knew that I wouldn't have time to start this until probably 11:30 at night yesterday. I had a crazy day. So I knew that, and I woke up early. Obviously, you're not always going to know that your day's crazy if your car breaks down and then your kids are sick. I'm like quoting Marie, but you don't always know. And I'm not saying that like there's grace and there's life and things happen, but you really just got to look at your goals and make sure your to-do list lines up with those goals. And sometimes it's a harsh reality, but if the sooner you recognize that and you decide to go all in, it completely changes it. Simple to-do list, go all in. You can go all in today, June 21st, 2016, can be an all in day. So, oh, can I say something real quick, Marie? You're muted. You're muted.
No, okay, sorry. I'm over here like, yeah, Caroline. I'm like, go.
I always say this at beginning calls and I forgot to. I like to really quick share about my story because you see really successful coaches and you just don't realize like the backstory. Some of them started right away. I didn't. I signed up in January of 2014. I hit Success Club twice between January 2014 and November 2014. 21 Day Fix came out in February of 2014. I'm not sure how many of you were coaches then, but it was like insane. You couldn't find 21 Day Fix anywhere. It was being sold for like 5 times as much on eBay. Like it was literally crazy. And so I hit Success Club that month. It was also my first month. So like a combination was great. And then one other month. And then I really was inconsistent. I didn't have a to-do list. I kind of just did whatever. I didn't drink my Shakeology consistently. My posts were like typical of every coach, very surface level. Really just wasn't in it. And I went to a Team Boom retreat that fall. After I considered canceling, I had the coach cancellation forms signed. At the time, you had to like write them out. And I went to this retreat and learned that everyone on this team, and it's still to this day, Marie, myself, Alyssa, Shauna, Michelle, Annie, Amy, Pat, everyone, we're all normal people. We don't like sleep above the bed at night. We don't have a halo above our head. We're all very normal people that are very busy in our life, and we make priorities and we work hard. And when I realized that, I was like, I'm going to go all in. I don't have a lot of time in my life, and I don't think many of you have time in your life. So if you have a very little bit of time to do this, you might as well go all in. Why spend some time versus just like hanging out? So I decided to use that small amount of time to go all in and really set the to-do list, set my goals. I wanted to be diamond 3 weeks later, October 26th, I came back from that retreat and I wanted to be diamond in 3 weeks. And I set the goal and I made diamond 3 weeks later. And I came back from that retreat as an emerald coach with 2 active coaches. So, and I want to say I made diamond with not a single person I know in real life. At the time, I didn't know in real life. My family wasn't supportive at all. So all these things that people make excuses for, like there's ways beyond it. But I always like to say that story because you hear so many coaches that like right off the bat, they got into it, or it took a few months or whatever. Like it took me 11 months. To really make that recognition. But like, again, like my start date, January 14th, 2014, my all-in date, October 26th, 2014, I've hit Success Club 15 plus every month since. And it completely changed my life. And plugging into this team and going to all the events and reading personal development and making my to-do list. So I always just like to say that. Sorry to like going backwards way. I forgot to say that at the beginning. But I always like to say that because if you have been struggling to figure out where to start, number one, make this to-do list. You can make it so simple and so easy for you and just do it consistently every single day. And if you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Don't continue the pattern of missing more days. Just start fresh the next day. But if you're consistent with doing 6+ days a week of a simple to-do list, it's no longer an if will I be successful, it's a when I will be successful. So I think that's mostly what I have. Do you have anything else, Marie? Or any questions from you guys on anything? This.
I really think that that's, awesome to share because, the way that my life is now and the way that it was a year and a half ago, I mean, I'm not saying I had an awful life. I had my teacher life where I was making, absolutely no money. I had, all of these things going on, but the way that my life has changed now, like if you just met me, you wouldn't know that. And all of a sudden, I remember when I was in, where were we? We were in, there's all these cool places we go. I forget what it sounds bad. I'm like, where were we? Oh, we were in Jamaica with Pat, and we were in the pool. And he told me that all of a sudden you see like this weight that is like lifted off of people. Like you finally exhale and you just propel yourself forward. And, you know, all of a sudden you just keep going, and then that weight, that burden and that self-doubt and all of that just releases from you. And I think that that's just like an amazing feeling. And going from where I was when I first started coach, you know, I had 2 coaches. I had no idea what my sister was talking about. I'm like, you want me to do what? Like, I don't even have Facebook. I don't even have Instagram. You know, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'll just pretend I'm doing it because I want to go like with you in a hotel somewhere. It sounds like fun. Like I had no idea what was going on. And once I really thought to myself, you know, it could be so overwhelming if you try to do everything. And then if you look at what Caroline is doing, the duplicatable system, and I've gone over this with you guys before too. Invite, follow up, friend people, work out, don't have a crappy post on your Facebook wall. Like, here's my Shakeology bag. I'm so excited to mix. Like, you're going to kill your business. And if you do those small things, eventually it'll move your business forward. And until I realized that, I didn't have to do all of these crazy things and just make it small. It's gonna happen for you. It's like a promise of God. Like it's gonna happen. Like you know, my fail rate, I would say, is pretty high. I do invite a lot of people, but they do come full circle and eventually watch the join over time. So you just gotta have that mindset. Stick to your why and keep going. Because right now I'm tired. I'll be honest with you. This call, even though Caroline's awesome and I love my team, in the back of my mind, I was like, God, what did I do? You know, I have nothing else to do, but that thought process can really get you in the end. So you have to fight it. And Mindy knows that too. Like just stick with your why. And sometimes you got to power through and just make yourself do it, you know, and that's all the advice that I can give you. So you hit that nail on the head with that, Caroline. And I appreciate you getting on our call tonight. You have some that very valuable information that you shared with us. And I'm looking forward to, this is one thing I want to say real quick. I'm looking forward to what we learn in these calls is very important to put it into practice. So the first part is learning, absorbing. So, you know, we watch, now we, not like right now, go do it, but like we watch now, we go and do. So we got to do it because you don't want to be wasting your time either. So really apply it and keep going. So I know we have like a couple of minutes on here. I know a lot of you are busy, but does anybody have a specific question for Caroline?
Yes, anything.
Anything. Well, I loved your video last night. I watched it like 45 times. You were like dancing in the kitchen. If it was last night. Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay, so things like, let me show this.
I like screenshotted you to Michelle Katz, my other diamond. I was like, oh my God, look at this. This is so awesome. Like,
let me find.
I have a question when you're ready, Caroline or Marie or anybody else.
Yeah.
When you're doing, I'm definitely a pen and paper girl, so I started that today to track everybody. Do you even write down every single person that like you sent a friend request to? Or do you just start tracking people once they sent you a friend request, once you started the communication with them, then you kind of start tracking them where you've, where the communication's at?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said for me personally, if I send a friend request, I don't write them down until I'm going through the recently added. When I accept my friend request, I send them that message and then I add them to an interest list. So it's like my own little mini newsfeed.
Okay.
Then when I accept their friend request, I immediately say like, hey, Caroline, thanks so much for the ad. Did we connect from Instagram? Are you interested in my upcoming challenge group? And usually they're like, oh no, we connected from whatever, but I'd love more info. Okay. And then I write down their name.
Awesome.
What about you, Marie?
Yeah, that's what I do. I put you into 3 categories. I either put you in you ignore me, you're in a free group, or not right now.
Okay.
Okay, so like I write down, I go to recently added every day, and my goal is I have to write 2 full names of people. Like, it's kind of crazy. It makes sense to me, but it has to be 2 full pages. with people, and then I invite all of those people. They say, sure, tell me more info. And then I say, oh, well, what are your fitness goals? Let's talk about that. And then we go back and forth for a while. Then I lay it on them, down the road. And then I don't write their name. I write their name down, but I don't Excel spreadsheet them until you fall into one of those categories. Bought it, not right now, ignores me. What else? What was the other one? I don't even know. I'm kind of off on my Excel spreadsheet. I've been doing cute little notebooks lately. So
yeah, spreadsheets are not working
people
for me.
down. Like sometimes people ignore me and I just archive them. I'm moving so fast that I was spending too much time color coding stuff for a while.
That's where I think my downfall is at. I spend a lot of time trying to organize and code and make everything look fancy. And I think pen and paper, just writing them down and being done with it is what
Yeah.
I overcomplicate everything. I think it needs to be like this big old thing. And so, yeah, I'm learning.
Don't. I print out my Facebook list and, I just keep going and,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Marie, I wanted to show this real quick. This is like embarrassing to show, but for social media, there are so many coaches, right? Like I hear it all the time, like from perspectives, like I'm afraid to be a coach because there's so many. Yeah, there's so many coaches and there are so many freaking coaches just posting like what Beachbody posts or posting the same generic, like day 2 of 21 Day Fix selfie, things like that. I stick by the thing and I post some of that stuff too. Don't get me wrong. Like I post whatever, but I generally think to myself, at least twice a day, I'm posting something on social media that I'd be slightly embarrassed for my best friend to see. So, and that's why I say to myself, like, do I want to show Maria this? So this video is like really embarrassing. People were showing like
that was awesome. I showed like 30 people that video yesterday. It was awesome. Not like 30, like 2, but it seemed like 30. So I was like, look at this.
I don't know if you guys can see this. I look ridiculous and I'm really trying.
But you know what that tells people though, Caroline, is when you did this, I loved it because it tells me that if I felt like I couldn't do it, like look at you doing this. Like if you're doing this and you look like silly, not that you look so silly because I loved it, but it tells me that if I am, feeling like I can't do something, and you doing that, it connects with me that I can do it.
Right. And so I had 17 people message me after I posted this video to get on my list for Country Heat. Will they all purchase on Wednesday? No. Probably 1 will purchase. Probably 3 will purchase in the next 2 months. But I guarantee you of those 17, almost all of them in the next 2 years will purchase a challenge pack. So it's not like immediate, like you can't expect them all right away. But like, so example, like everyone's posting like the box step 1 or like the easy ones. Like I had 1,000 videos of ones that made me look perfect, but I'm going to post the ones that probably most people are too afraid to post. So that's just like an example, like post really raw stuff.
And you got to be careful doing that because I've done that at disadvantage to myself, and I'm really going to focus on the Country Heat because when I got stronger and I got better, my videos were really good, and then people don't want to be a coach because they're like, I can't do that. I'm like, I can't do that, but I'm like, dang, I am doing that now. And I go back to my first bit. You got to be real careful with that you're still being real. That's why I like going live because I don't have time to edit it. I don't have time to, you know what I'm saying, add a good background and all that. It's raw, it's authentic, and it's me like sweating, not being like in my perfect little outfit with my cute song with a background because that can hurt you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think we have time for one more question. Sorry, I get so like pumped up about it. I love Beachbody. I'm like, what else? I'm never going to bed tonight. I like have way too much energy.
So I have a question. So I'm just wondering, when you first started, how did you break into, posting on social media? Because for me, the inviting is actually the easier part. Like speaking to people one-on-one and like doing that kind of private stuff is not, that's not where my challenge is. My challenge is like, how do I start posting this publicly? And I do occasionally, but it feels so like out of character. Not entirely. Like I do have an Instagram account that's more like fitness account, and I feel more comfortable posting that stuff on there. But I just feel like compared to, everything that I've always posted on Facebook for years and years and years, and all of my friends and family have seen, now to start all of a sudden just putting up all this fitness stuff, it seems, I don't know, like, I don't really know how to like break into that and start doing it. So I'm just curious, like, how did that happen? Did you do it little by little? Did you just go all in?
Yeah, I started doing, and it's less than a minute, so I'll message you if this ends. But I started,
Oh,
or
sorry.
I'll make a video and send to to Marie so she can post. But I started with like 1 Beachbody related post a day and like 3 real life ones. And I still try to stick to that kind of thing because people want to relate to you and not to Beachbody. I also use something called Block from Statuses. It's like an interest list I made. I highly recommend not doing that. I regret it a lot because I put everyone on there that I thought would never want to see my posts and block them from every single one of my posts. And 17 people from that list, I still have the list, are now Beachbody coaches with my sorority sisters. 2 of which are elite coaches. So you just never know. And I like highly regret that. So but it's one of those things, if you're not going to post or you're going to post with this blocking, then I always tell my coaches, like, I'd rather you post with blocking, but I always tell my story, like, I missed really great sorority sisters in my pledge class. Like, you probably would have signed up with me. Just because I was too afraid for them to see my posts. But I definitely started smaller and now I do more, but I definitely did like 1 post a day of the Beachbody related stuff and then 3 like my real life. As long as you're posting more, people are going to keep seeing those posts and want to like, go to your page.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. That's it. Yeah, Michelle's our diamond in the closet.
I know she's diamond.
Yeah, she got there super fast. So yay, Michelle. But, great. Well, we're going to go ahead and end because I hate